Hey guys, I'm finally back. I just finished my final exams and I have some time to implement a new idea which our editor Rupesh has pitched, which is going to be one company analysis possibly per week, which we're going to deep dive into the history of the company, the numericals, try to figure out the things which an investor should be looking for in those companies. And we're possibly going to pick up certain companies which you guys have been asking for quite a while. So don't think that we haven't been reading your comments. We have been reading a lot of your comments, and we do plan to pick up some of the companies that you have been asking for. And there will be some companies which we ourselves are interested in, which we want to do an analysis on and share with you guys. And it's going to be a good learning experience for me and my team. And I hope it's going to be valuable to you guys, the audience. And we're going to try and put out a company analysis per week, and we'd love your feedback on it. And if you do have any suggestions, you can leave them in the comments below. Again, I thank you for your patience and your support for this series, and not only this series, but for our channels. Thank you once again.
Hi everyone, welcome back to BRH. It's me, Vinod, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today was day 29. I hope you managed to invest something. I did misquote myself in the last video saying Monday must be day 27, 28. I was wrong. It's 29. We've already done 28, which was Friday. I hope that today you managed to do some tiffin coffee. And talking of tiffin coffee, I wanted to talk about Jyoti Labs. Over the last so many months, it's come down by almost 35%. So, what is Jyoti Labs? A lot of you do not know what Jyoti Labs is. It's a company. They're not a pharmaceutical company. This happens because it says labs. It even happened with my friend Rupesh. When he first heard of Jyoti Labs, he thought it was a pharmaceutical company. Because the problem is, most FMCG companies, the parent company has no relationship with the brands they're dealing with. Like Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Tata Consumer. These are the company names. But the products they deal with, those are the ones which are famous because the company has built that into the consumer's mind. And most consumers are surprised when they find out, oh, this brand is owned by this company. I didn't know that. That's why I always suggest, whenever you buy a product, you look to see, Uniball I. Mitsubishi Pencil Company Limited. Mitsubishi, the same company that makes cars, ACs, heavy machineries, makes pens. This is a point of always looking at whatever you buy. As a value investor or as any investor, you should always be looking out for opportunities. And Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Anand, Peter Lynch, lots of people have said the way to investigate is to see what products you yourself use and then see, this product is good, so that means they must be doing well. Then finding out ways and means of researching and finding out if there's value there to be bought. So this is the case of Jyoti Labs. So a lot of you have been wondering, those of you who know about Jyoti Labs, is it in value? Some of you don't know anything about Jyoti Labs are now hearing about it and wondering, hey, should I be looking into this? That's the essence of this video. First, we'll walk through what Jyoti Labs does. Then we'll talk about where they are. Then I leave it up to you to find out if you should be considering Jyoti Labs at all. So what are their main segments of business? They're into fabric care, right? Which is the Ujala Supreme, Henko detergent powders, and Henko liquid, right? The revenue that contributes to their revenue, fabric care products, contributes about 43% of their revenue comes from fabric care. Then they do dishwash. Dishwashing is all the vessel washing, which is Prill, which is liquid. Then you have the Prill bar and the Prill gel. Then you have EXO. This contributes around 34% of their revenue. So there you go. Soaps, either in terms of detergents for clothes or detergents for washing vessels, contributes to about almost 80% of their revenue. Then you get into personal care. Personal care products, Margo soap, talcum powders, deodorants, that comes around 11%. So that takes us to around almost 90. Then you have household insecticides. Insecticides in the household are Max Soap, mosquito repellent coil, and liquid vapor. That is around 8%. Then they have other stuff like incense sticks, toilet cleaners, and laundry services, which comes around to 4%. Jyoti Labs did start this whole initiative of pick up and wash and deliver high-end laundry services some time ago. It did make the news. I don't know how successful it's been, but it's something they've started and it's contributing around to 4% of their revenue. So that's around, total revenue for them is around 2,757 crores. This was for the financial year 24. And if you notice, most of their products are revolving around soaps and detergents and cleaning agents. The one add-on is, of course, mosquito repellents Other than that, most of it revolves around soaps. So they seem to be a company that deals primarily in soaps in the FMCG sector. ITC and other ones, they deal with a plethora of products, like Unilever has a plethora of products. These guys are mainly dealing with this. This is why they call themselves Jyoti Labs. So what are the primary market positions and industry trends they're sitting on? Well, they are a B2C company. That means they sell directly to consumers, the products they make. And like I said, most of these brands which I just told you, some of you might be even surprised that you didn't know that Jyoti Labs owns this brand. Well, now you do. The FMCG sector in India is growing and is expected to grow at a percentage of 4 to 6% in the coming year, and there's a slowdown from last year's of 9.3%. Urban demand outpaces rural demand because the rural areas where most of the recovery is happening and the stabilizing is happening since the microfinance fiasco and the COVID problems we've been having. So most of their trade happens from Kirana stores in urban areas. This is where Jyoti Labs' major footprint is. So what is their dominant brand? Ujala is their dominant brand. Those of you who know Ujala, it's a 40-plus-year-old company. It is very famous for its ads and jingles. Those of you my age will definitely know Ujala jingles. Then the second product which is they're very dominant is in Prill and Exo. Prill and Exo, most of you will see it in your household, and those of you who wash dishes like me will know what Prill is, and you would have used Prill. And Exo is also another one. So these two brands are the most strongest brands they've built and contributes to majority of their revenue, as I said previously. Margo soap is there. It's an old brand. It does have a market presence, but it's not powerful as the first two which I mentioned. Then in pesticides, which I was talking about, mosquito repellents, Maxo is a brand which is trying to fight against behemoths like Godrej. So what are the key revenue which has been happening for them from 2022 to 2024? If you see, the revenue growth has been around 10%. The net profits grown about 54%. EBITDA margins have up by almost 5%, and net worth in terms of crores has gone up by 16%. Of course, it's a debt-free company. So this is one of the main highlights of this company. It does have a very competitive landscape where it's managed to carve itself a niche. What do I mean by a competitive landscape? They're fighting companies like Hindustan Unilever, they're fighting ITC, and they're fighting Godrej. These are very old and very big and very powerful companies. Hindustan Lever has brands under its belt such as Surf Excel, Vim, Lifebuoy, Domex, and they are the market leaders in most of these categories which I just mentioned. These brands, as soon as I mention, you will know what brands I'm talking about. ITC is, of course, Nimli, Vivel, and Salvon is owned by ITC. These are the brands which are trying to improve their market position, and they're fighting to improve market position. But if you see in terms of consumer mindset, they've not managed to capture the consumer's imagination in terms of product and product quality. When I mean quality is, consumers are very fickle when it comes to fragrance, and ITC is still trying to figure this one out. How to get the right combination of fragrance to click in the consumer's mind. This is where people like Godrej and Hindustan Lever have been more successful. Of course, Goodnight is a dominant brand in mosquito repellent, and Synthol soap is another famous brand of Godrej, which is a very old brand. A lot of you would know what Synthol soap is. The other company which is giving them a run for their money in this sector is, of course, Dabur. So if you see, there are 4 companies which they are fighting, Jyoti Labs, and all of these companies have, the parent company itself has a lot of brand recall like Dabur, Godrej, ITC, and Hindustan Unilever. So those of you who did not know, Jyoti Labs is sitting in the middle of all this. So what are the major challenges which are facing Jyoti Labs? This is worth looking into. Inflation and rising input cost with the rupee the way it's going, and inflation what it's doing, it's hurting Jyoti Labs in their bottom line. The slow recovery in rural demand is also hurting Jyoti Labs because like I said, the fiasco of the microfinance and the slowdown in the economy post-COVID. And this has been hurting them because 50% of their sales come from rural areas in India. So they are more of a rural company and an urban company, more than an urban company with rural footprint. Like ITC and Hindustan Unilever are expanding into rural areas. Jyoti Labs already has a huge presence in rural India, and there being a slowdown in rural demand has been hurting them. This will come to more understanding when I come to what happened this quarter. Intense competition from the MNCs and local Indian giants is a problem for them. And consumer preferences to shifting to eco-friendly and premium products is also hurting them. There is a drive in FMCG sector, in the consumer brand, the consumer mind, that we should be more eco-friendly and picking products which are more environmentally friendly or produced in environmentally friendly ways, which has less plastic, and the production of the product should be more environmentally conscious. That is being driven into consumers, so consumers are more aware of this. Then, of course, premiumization is apparent in FMCG sector also. Premiumization in FMCG sector means what? That they're trying to carve out a niche. Consumers are bored of using products everyone's using, mass products. They want to stand out, they want to be separate. So these small homegrown brands are gaining a lot of momentum, which are getting a lot of VC funding, and from VC funding they're being bought by other MNC brands. You can Google and see there's lots of them which have been going through. And if you open in Amazon or in Flipkart, you'll see a lot of these small homegrown brands which are growing in stature. All of this has been squeezing Jyothy Labs. So what is the future outlook for Jyothy Labs? Well, they have new launches, which is the Henko-Matic liquid detergent, the Exo Safari steel scrubber, the Margot hand wash. That means they're trying to innovate and catch up with competition because they're seeing market trends. People are preferring more liquid soaps and foam soaps, and the scrubbers and the hand washes are all becoming, from using bars, which you used to do in our younger days. Consumers' mindset has changed to more liquid and foam. So they're also pivoting and moving, which is good. The premium fabric care and personal care product categories they're expanding in, which is also good, because the premium fabric care is where they can make a better margin, like soap pods and all that. They are strengthening in their digital platforms, and they're trying to improve direct-to-consumer channels. So this is something they're working on. They are trying to expand in their distribution in rural areas and trying to get on to more online sales. Of course, like I said before, their consumers being more environmentally conscious. They're also trying to get to zero plastic waste by 27. And they're also investing in solar energy and carbon reduction projects, trying to make themselves look more appealing to younger consumers who are more conscious of all these things. So let's talk about the quarterly results of what's happened. This is the main reason why there's been a push on their price for the last 6 months. Because of the rural slowdown and the urban demands cooling off, Jyothy Labs has been showing year on year, if you see, there's improvements in percentage. Everything is positive. 3-4% up, other income is up by 31%. But the problem is when you see from last quarter to this quarter, that's where all the pain is coming. That is why the beating of the price has been happening, because in the short term, from the second quarter to third quarter, most of the numbers are looking rather negative in terms of revenue of operations, total income, cost of materials consumed, EBITDA, EBITDA margins, net profit, and EPS per share have all come down by quite a large margin, especially EPS, that is earnings per share, has come down by almost 16 to 17%. But this, if you look at it, is not something I would say you should worry about. What you should see is it in value now? That is where the question lies, because these opportunities always come up in market, because some market participants only look at in the short term, where they worry about quarter to quarter earnings. We being long-term investors, we try and focus on the long term. So what is this brand? Does it have a good management? Do they have a good product? Do they have a moat? What will be their forecast looking 10 years on? And I think there is opportunity for Jyothy Labs. It's an old company. It's not a new upstart. It's been there for some time. They have some strong brands under their belt, and they're run by a good management team. So these are things which ticks off for me. So then gets into question, what about their peers and where they are in terms of pricing? Well, if you look at their current or where they are in terms of valuations, I think they're fairly well valued. And even if you're looking at their book value, they're a little expensive, but I think that is okay. Dividend yield is low, and the return on equity for them is not the same as HUL and ITC. But I think that is okay, because if you look at it, the main thing is where we have to focus our attention is the valuation of price to earnings. There, I think they're fairly valued if you look at their own historical averages, and if you look at the sectoral averages of their peers, Jyothy Labs is positioned quite well. So my analysis to conclude would be this, my verdict would be this. If you're looking at this is a great opportunity. If it's been there in your radar for some time and you've been waiting for the right time, feeling it's too costly, it's too premium, maybe it is a time for you to keep it in your radar, because they are slowly moving towards somewhere you can consider them. That's my opinion. Only issue would be the rural weakness which they're suffering from and the competition they're facing in their pesticides. But the problem there should not be too big, because the revenue coming from something like mosquito repellents is only 4 to 5%, like I said in the beginning of the video. Most of their revenue comes from fabric, detergents, and liquid soap, which is used for, cleaning vessels. And there they seem to have a good brand, and they seem to be having a good, strong revenue from those two streams. And I don't see that weakening anytime soon, because those brands are very well established and they're well set into the consumer mind. And if anything, there is going to be only recovery coming in next few years in the rural area and in urban areas. So their product and their sales should go up and revenue should go up. And it might become back to a premium stock very soon. So this opportunity window, I do not know how long it may last. So when it does open, do think about considering it. So the stock is down 35%, like I said. In terms of valuations, it's looking great. The core strength is fabric care and dishwashing business. That remains strong. We still need it. Even during times of recession, we need to wash clothes and wash dishes. So I don't see this being a big problem for them. All their problems seem to be very short term, which is the demand in rural area and the premiumization of FMCG sector in their peers like ITC and HUL. So if you are looking at long-term investing, I would definitely put Jyoti Labs on my cards. It's a great brand. Only question is if it's of value. That is for you to consider and me to offer you only my insights. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday tomorrow and you had a wonderful day today, I hope. Remember, tomorrow's day 30. We've already finished all the 20s. Now we're getting into our 30s as we chug along 247-day challenge, different coffee range. Keep it simple. Don't get it complicated. And remember, you do have a life to live. Invest, log off, move on. Don't sit and digest all kinds of market news, especially what Trump is doing or what is happening in the economy and all that. That is of no consequence to us. Stay focused on your work. Stay focused on your life. Keep investing and moving on. Thanks for watching the video as always. See you tomorrow evening with another video with something interesting. Bye.
Hey guys, that my uncles VinodSrinivasan, Anand Srinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog/newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it, and we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu, and these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.